You may remember I said when I posted the video about the psychic fair that I went to that I was looking for a topper for a hiking cane, hiking staff that I was making. I couldn't find anything there, so on the way home I had this idea of something to try, and this was the idea. I didn't know it was going to work, but I've done it anyway. And this is or it was a Banksia pod flower head that I've burned all of the fuzz off it. That makes the pod part, the seed holding parts, these bits here, they open up so the seeds will fall out. Banksias have evolved to do that in bushfires, so that's how they spread their seeds. Anyway, I burned all the bits off, and most of the seed holders opened, and I got the seeds out. So then I've sort of scraped off all the bits that was left. This part here, this stuff here is actually still sort of fuzz. It's not right, it's not actually the wood of the Banksia, but I decided I was going to leave that on there and seal it, which I've done with a semi-matte black paint, which seems to have done pretty well. It has that sort of rough texture, which is what I wanted. And the actual seed holding parts actually go all the way down into the wood, down to the wood, so they're quite deep. And they already had a sort of a golden colour to them, so I painted them gold and extended the gold out onto what I call the lips of them, because they do look kind of like mouths. And what you see in there is a lot of tiny chips. I mean, this is the size of it compared to my finger. Okay, so it's not huge. It's about, I suppose, maybe 100 millimeters, 10 centimeters or so, from top to bottom. So they are all actual gemstones, like the red bits are. You know, they're all different colours. Types of quartz and agate and rose quartz and all kinds of stuff which I can't remember the names of because I'm old and forgetful. But there's some amethyst in there, there's lapis lazuli and quartz. The only two bits that didn't open up enough for me to put a gemstone of some description in is the two coming up, this one here and that one there. They didn't open enough, I couldn't fit anything in there, so I just put some bright red paint in the part there, and then I've sealed them all in with some UV cured resin that holds them in place and covers them nicely. It's still not quite finished. I don't know whether to put a coating of resin over the whole surface or just use a clear coat varnish or something. I'll decide that later on. But it came out quite nice looking, but I don't know whether it's an over the top topper. It looks more like it should be on a scepter. The base part that you see there is where I drilled into the actual wood part of the Banksia pod. That's deep in here to about sort of this level here, maybe, what's that, 30-40 millimeters into the wood. And I've inserted some threaded rod right into it and fastened it there with super glue, which is pretty solid. It's not going to go anywhere. This part here is a rubber washer, I suppose you'd call it, so that where it meets the actual top of the staff, it covers up any imperfections and surface matching and stuff. In the top of the staff I drilled, which is bamboo, so it's hollow. The top hollow part is about I don't know, 50-60 centimeters deep. I put some dowel into that part and put that in really solidly with some super glue in there and some whatever glue it was, and then I drilled into the dowel and put in an insert nut so that it screws into the actual inside of the dowel, and it's also got an internal thread for this to screw into. This is the hiking staff. I bought it from a Chinese shop in the Ingle Farm shopping centre, and it was already stained and everything, and they had about 3 of them at the time I bought it, which was quite a while ago, and it seems to want to focus on the fence rather than the cane, bamboo. So it was only $5, and they had about 3 of them at the time, and I wish I'd bought all 3 of them because they haven't had any since, and it's probably going back a couple of years, I reckon, or at least last year. But anyway, so the top part where I drilled in, I put it trying to get it focused, so I put the dowel in the end of the bamboo, drilled into the dowel and put the threaded nut in there, and that's where that bit screws into. I painted it black, which may not take very well on the bamboo. I might have to do something else, but yeah, anyway, I've done a paracord, sort of paracord wrap, just a simple wrap on the top part here. It's about nose level to the top here on me, so this is at the top, so it's good if I'm sort of balancing, if I'm going downhill or something. I've done another wrap in leather here that's attached with that's actual piece of leather, but I've got it inside out so that the actual suede part is showing, and it's attached with contact adhesive. This is a pure copper self-adhesive foil, which I wrapped around just to sort of seal the end a little bit. It looks a bit rustic, but that's fine, that's good, that's me, I like that. But this is a good grip for when I'm just walking normally. So I just have my elbow bent about 90 degrees, so it's just good for normal walking. And this is good for balancing, going downhill or crossing streams or whatever I happen to be doing, if I'm ever crossing streams. This is the base of the staff. See if I can get it to focus properly. This part here, this rubber part here, is just for walking on smooth, perhaps slippery surfaces. Come on, focus. Surfaces that can be damaged or whatever. Yeah, underneath there I've got another piece of metal with a sort of a bluntish spike on it, so I can use that for rocks and stuff that, especially wet rocks that may be too slippery for the rubber. So this is what it looks like underneath the rubber stopper. This black stuff is actually self-fusing butyl rubber tape, so it sticks to itself and makes it one piece of rubber virtually. As you can see, it's not very big, but it's big enough. That's actually a brass nut, actually brass plumbing nut really, which just fits on the edge of right on the end of the actual bamboo. I've screwed it on there tightly and added some super glue that holds it together and helps us stop it from splitting or whatever. I don't know whether I'll grind it down a little bit to smooth it out into a ring or just leave it as it is. But the actual, this is steel in here, and it's actually off an old CO2, or actually I think it's nitrous oxide thing for those creamers. It was used, not by me I might add. I found a box of them half used and half new sitting on the road outside my house one day. I think they've been sort of doing some huffing or whatever they call it, doing nangs. Stupid idiots, but you know, it's an ill wind that blows nobody any good, and it did me some good. So what I did was, this is a used one, which of course makes it a hollow steel, which is light but strong. This is a screw in the end. I screwed it into the hollow point of it, which gives it a rough, kind of a rough edge for scrambling on rocks that might be too slippery. So this is what it looks like with the topper screwed in place. It's not dead straight, but that doesn't matter to me. So again, I don't know whether it's a bit over the top for a walking, hiking staff. Looks like it belongs more on a scepter or something that some official might carry in some ceremony. Oh well, you never know what might happen in the future. This thing is not focusing where I want it to focus. So with that on, it comes up to about forehead height, or the top of my forehead. So, you know, that's not going to fight off a kangaroo or a snake or something, but the base will take care of them if I need to move any apart. And by the way, this is what an untreated Banksia head looks like, an old one. All the brown stuff is what I burnt off. This one is probably double the size of the one I used, and I think that would have been too big. That's why I chose a smaller one.